I'm telling you, that was my real reaction. Because we were sitting in the office, you know what I mean? We said office. He said, I got up, I walked around. What it is, what it does, what it is, what it was. It's your boy, Lean Trucker, back to another. Now today I'm gonna do a little something different because as you can see, I'm out here in the elements. Been on a bike ride and pretty much at the end of it, I just had some on my mind that I wanted to share. So thanks for tuning in. Thanks for giving your time. Please subscribe to the channel. You can hit it down there in the corner. The only thing I do is just click on it. It leads you right to it. Like the video, share, comment, all that good stuff. Today I want to talk about how I was a company driver, and I learned how to transfer from being a company guy to being business, more like a business mind. I even was with the company like a little while after, but it taught me a lesson. It's pretty much a life lesson. It's in any business, but I pretty much learned the difference between a company guy's mindset and an owner or a business mindset. So I'm gonna take you how I got through that.
Why you sleeping on us? Why you sleeping on us? No cap, we gon' have to make them believe us. Yeah, wake up, yeah, wake up, sleep on us. Wake up, yeah.
All right, so first, I want to start with this, my co-driver, slip seat. In trucking, they call it slip seat. We call it co-driver. I'll just explain real quick. All it is that I was working at a fuel company, and they want their trucks moving 24 hours because the fuel company never shuts down. We work 365, all holidays, all that good stuff. So I drove in the morning. She drove in the afternoon. She was an older lady. She was roughly at that time, I think pushing 60. I learned a lot from her. She had a lot of wisdom. Now, she punched me in the mouth, not physically, but I'm the story I'm going to tell you. She gave me some real truth, but that actually changed my mindset. It changed the whole trajectory of how I got here on the business mindset. So I used to work, I believe at this time I was working at 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., which typically I would get back earlier, and she would come in on the back end. Actually, I'm sorry, it was 9 to 9, and she would come in on the back end. Well, one day, I was rushing. I was trying to get home, beat traffic, because my son had football practice, and I wanted to be at every practice. I just wanted to be involved. I wanted to be at every practice. I wanted to take him, all that good stuff. So I rushed home. I rushed to the yard. Got to the yard. Who's supposed to do a post trip. You go around, check the truck. You check the fluids and stuff. Check the tires. Make sure the light's working. It's pretty much essentially it. You get out of there. And I ain't do none of that. I was rushing. I got my stuff. I'm like, all right, let me go. And so yeah, I leave, go home, pick my son, go to practice, all the good stuff. Well, she called me that afternoon, or was it the afternoon or that morning? No, she called me that afternoon. Yeah, I remember this specific. Okay, she called me that afternoon and she said, hey, did you notice anything on the truck before you left? I said, no. She said, well, did you do a post trip? I said, you know what, to be honest, I didn't. I was in a rush. I gave her the whole story, right? So this is what she hit me with, and this really got me. She said, well, first off, she let me know the damage I caused her. She said, well, because you just left and you didn't do your post trip, you left the tire flat, on the back end of the trailer, tires flat. And now I have to go over here. We had a maintenance shop at the yard. But she said, now I gotta go over here and get this tire fixed. And I'm gonna be here delayed for 2 hours. And she told me straight up, I ain't coming back in. Like, she gonna run her regular shit, what she telling me. She'll run her regular 12 and she'll be in after that. I say, what could I say? But she was right. I said, okay. And then she said, all right, I like you. We had a good relationship, right? Actually, she made me a pie or two, like I went over her house and got the pie, whatever. Like, again, nice lady, but she was in the military. She had been in the military for years, but she was straightforward and to the point. And she told me, she said, well, listen, let me tell you something. I understand that you have other things that you have to do, and you get in a rush and all that. She said, I understand all that. Shit, let me tell you one thing. Don't make your problems my problems. Like, what you gonna do with that? So, man, that's what I say. She punched me in the mouth, but she was absolutely right. I learned that, and that stood with me. Like, I ain't gonna lie, at first I was feeling salty, you know? Like, she gonna come at me like that. It's a bike around by. I'm gonna let them go by to use it. Okay, so getting back to it. So, I couldn't really do anything but respect that, because it was true, you know? Like, you go through life, and a lot of times we got friends, cousins, you know, whoever. They have problems, and they want to make their problems our problems. You know, like, hey, I can't get this. Again, this sounds harsh. It's not about that. You know, if you can help out people, I believe you help them. It's not what I'm saying. But it's like they got themselves in a situation where they can't make it to work or something. Now, you got to fix that problem for them. You know, it's like you got to find out how they going to get to work. You know, so it's like, okay, so this how this all goes back to this. So the same company I was working at, coming in at 9 a.m., like I said, towards 9 p.m. So in this case, what happened was the terminal manager and the safety guy, they had got some new trucks in. You know how people are, these companies, they get these new trucks. They had that brand new truck. I mean, they had these lights on them, pretty, whatever. So they asked me, I'm coming in to go to work, right? But they asked me, hey, can you, because they can't drive, by the way. Just keep this in mind. They don't know how to drive the 18-wheeler. So they asked me, can I drive it to Cowboy Stadium? At this time, Cowboy Stadium was brand new. They ain't even played a game in it. And it's the Texas Ranger Stadium. They within like a mile of each other. You can walk to it. They're really close. They wanted me to drive the truck to over there in that area in the parking lot where it was in between Texas Stadium, the Cowboy Stadium, and the Ranger Stadium. So they can take some pictures. They wanted some pictures. They wanted a photo op. I'm not really on board with this. You know, I'm like, I just want to go to work and do this. So they was like, come on, man, we won't be no more than like an hour, 45 minutes to an hour. I say, it's okay. Mind you, they had these things at the time. I'm assuming companies still do this. It's called supplementals. Because he was like, man, we'll pay you a supplemental. Well, supplemental is only $12 an hour, okay? So I could make, just to give an example, I could make $36 at that time for the shortest load we had. If I was going a longer load, I could make as much as, like, at that time, 65, 70, you know. It was like about an hour out. But I can do a short load. When I say a short one, the whole turn time from the time I leave the yard to do it, it could be like an hour and a half, $36. So I was saying, like, I'm gonna miss out on a load. I told them, I said, oh no, man, I'm gonna miss out on a load. And they was like, no, man, we're gonna take care of the terminal manager. No, man, we're gonna take care of it. Don't worry about it, man. Just, you know what I'm saying, drop side, blah, blah, blah. Fast forward, we over there 2 hours later. No kidding, it's like 2.5 hours later. It's time to go. Now I'm in the truck, you know, I'm backing it up, you know, going in circles, you know, this little crap dog and putty show, right? So, before I get to, because we're about to leave and take the truck back to the yard. Before I get to there, I do want to add in that before all this, again, they used to use me. The reason why they used me, by the way, it was nothing special about me. It was simply because most shifts came in at 3 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m., and returned, you know, 10, 11, 12 hours later. So they literally would have no one there that could drive except for me, as far as normal business hours. So they would use me to do stuff like, now they pay me a supplemental, but they would use me to do stuff like take the mechanic to, or ride with the mechanic to Freightliner. They had a truck, you know, under warranty in the shop, to pick up the truck and I drive the truck back because the mechanic didn't have a CDL. They would ask me to run bad trailers, well, something that was wrong with the trailer that they need taken to the other side of town, about 20, 25 minutes away, because it needed something done to it, right? So we'll do that, come back, get in my truck and trailer, and leave and go for the work day. So I'd already been doing favors for them. And so, okay, we back at Texas Stadium, wherever. We're leaving now, we're going back. And they was like, hey man, you hungry? I'm like, yeah, I'm hungry. Like, what you want? So I'll take Jack in the Box, because at that time it was on the way back to the yard. I said, okay, Jack in the Box. The meal cost $6. Forgot what it was. It's irrelevant. Cost $6. So we get back to the office, and I smashed the food, and I was like, hey, fill out the supplemental. So that's what I said. I said, hey, you said it was gonna be like an hour. It turned out to be 2 hours. I missed a whole load. So can I at least get the minimum load? Now, keep in mind what I said, the minimum load. I didn't ask for the medium, which was been like $44, something like that, right? I asked for the medium, the lowest load possible. He said, no, man, you know it don't work like that. You know, it's $12 an hour, you know? And it's only been 2 hours. He's like, look, man, and then I just bought the food for you. I ain't charge you that. That's $30. I'm telling you, that was my real reaction. Because we were sitting in the office. You know what I mean? We said office. He said, I got up, I walked around. And stuff like that. I said, are you serious? I honestly thought he was joking. It's like, I'm dead serious. I said, come on, man. You cost me. I didn't ask to go do this photo op. You said it was going to be 45 minutes to an hour. That's why I said, okay, no big deal. It ain't going to take too much time my day. It took 2 hours. I didn't even complain about that. I sat in that truck the whole time, didn't say a word, backing up, whatever you wanted me to do so I could have this photo shoot. Even at times, sitting back in the seat so they'd get me in the picture, right? Because they framed it. They actually framed this stuff on the wall, right? They would have framed all that. So he stuck to his guns, is the point. He stuck to his guns and he said, man, what's $6? As far as, it was $24 for the 2 hours plus the $6 meal. And then he was saying, what's $6? You're going to make a big deal out of $6. I said, that's what I'm asking you. What's $6? You going to make a big deal out of $6? I said, you know what? Don't worry about it. So that moment on, between what my slip seat co-driver, from what she told me, was like a few months later to when this happened. And that's when it all sunk into me. Essentially, there are no favors. That's what I learned. This is what this taught me. There are no favors in business. It's black and white, right? There is no gray area. It's simple. You want me to do something, you pay me for it. I ain't doing nothing for free. That's the biggest thing I learned. And I stayed a company driver, I don't remember at this point, for maybe, I'm assuming, a few years. But when I left, I took that with me. I took what she told me, don't make your problems my problems. See, that was their problem that they needed, they really wanted it, right? They wanted that photo op. That wasn't my problem. But guess what? They made it my problem. And then it cost me, and then I wasn't rewarded. So once I left them, it became an owner-operator for another fuel company. And they would start doing, I would have the dispatcher saying, hey, can you do this for me? No. I'm not kidding. No. What I would say was, we can make a deal. I'll do that if I get this. There was no favors. That's what I learned. You can't do favors in business. There are no favors. That's the biggest difference between making the transition from a company person's mindset to a business mindset. When you work for a company, I worked for a company before I owned my truck for years, like most people. And if you still do, that's fine. It has nothing to do with that. But what I learned about a company's mindset is that you're willing, for the most part, to go above and beyond when they're asking you to do them favors. But then when it comes back to you, for the most part, they ain't hearing it. It's like, well, I'm sorry. It's like you want a vacation 6 months from now, and they say, well, I'm sorry, so-and-so I already put in, and we can only have 2 off that week. Because this actually used to happen at that kind of company. We have 2 off that week. And you like, well, but I kind of been doing this for you and doing that for you. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. So that's pretty much all I have for today. Is the biggest way, well, I ain't gonna biggest way, I'm gonna just tell you straight up, don't do it. If you run a business or you in business, we aren't doing favors. It's simple. You either pay me for the services that you're asking me for, or if you choose, you make a deal that works out for you. I'll do this for you if I get this in return. Otherwise, scrap it. Keep it in mind, stay on the ground, one day at a time. Salute.